Am I the asshole for being visibly upset that my mill didn't house my turtle for a few days? This is a strange story, but I am still a bit confused. So my boyfriend, 22M, and I, 23F, have been dating for 6 years. We are still students and living with parents, which is really common here. It's important to know that my grandparents, 70s, have a turtle that lives in their terrace. Everything she does is eat, go for a walk and poop. So, last year my grandfather was diagnosed with skin cancer and he had to undergo surgery. It was very big and it almost arrived to his skull, so we weren't sure about the outcome. My grandmother stayed with him at the hospital, as well as my mother, so someone needed to take care of the turtle. Now, my house, sadly, is very little and has no balcony or terrace or any space outdoors whatsoever. And we don't have more family. I didn't want to house the poor turtle in a box because it would be so little space for her and difficult to clean, so I asked my boyfriend, who has a very big terrace. He was okay with it and I would give him the food, and money, in case she needed more, and I would also transport the turtle. He would make a little brick fence in one side of the terrace, so that she wouldn't run away, and he would cover one part because she likes to hide in the dark to sleep. All he needed to do, really, was to clean the poop with a hose and he was okay with that. Well, turns out Mill said she didn't want the turtle there. She told my boyfriend that the sight of the turtle upset her, mind you. She didn't even need to touch her or be near her. The fence would be on the other side of the porch where no one ever went. And it doesn't even make noise. I wouldn't even ask about a dog or a cat or something bigger, louder. But you wouldn't even realize if the turtle was there or not. I know that it's her house and her rules, but I felt that technicality aside, she wasn't being a really good or considerate person. I also might add that I never refused to do a favor for her. So I don't think she did it in revenge. Like, I would print or scan things in my printer for free, like all of her divorce papers, and ink isn't cheap. I would give things to my Sil, who is a little girl. I would help her send emails or with technical, computer stuff in general. I did it without asking anything in return. But now I felt like when for once I needed something I was rejected, when all I asked was for a little space. Well, when some other day after all of this, I went to my BF's house, I was more quiet and didn't chat with her at all. I didn't confront her or something, but I just didn't want to talk to her in general. When someone dear was in a hospital and I didn't have much options, she couldn't even let her son take care of my little turtle. Well, still to this day, she talks about how inconsiderate I was because it's her house, I get it. But I didn't even mention the subject, I was just less talkative and enthusiastic with her. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit to add. I did ask her about the turtle, that is why she didn't house her. I didn't come to her door with the turtle without asking or SMTH. I asked my boyfriend first because he would be the one to take care of the turtle. Also, she isn't technically my Mill because we aren't married, but it was easier to refer to her that way. Very soft, you are the asshole. I get it, the turtle doesn't take much care and your boyfriend was going to be the one caring for it. But she wasn't even included in the initial discussion, you just had your boyfriend drop it on her. And it's her house, if she doesn't want the turtle there that's her decision. It doesn't really matter how inconvenient or easy you consider having the turtle there to be. Not the asshole. You asked, she declined, NaH for that portion. She became the asshole with her continuously bringing it up after the fact. You were allowed to be disappointed and stressed, with a family member in the hospital and a pet to take care of. She needs to let it go. It's her house, her decision. You should have asked her first. Especially since turtles have salmonella in their poop. You're punishing her because she didn't do a favor for you in return for all your favors, despite the fact that housing a turtle on her balcony is a huge thing compared to you occasionally printing stuff for her. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. It's her house, she doesn't have to house an animal if she feels uncomfortable. Why couldn't you, or BF, stay at your grandfather's house to care for the turtle in its normal home? It would probably be less stressful for the turtle? This is what I do when I dog sit for friends and family. Not the asshole. You were helping your grandfather who was in the hospital and very ill. And it seems like because she cares about you she would want to help you out at this difficult moment. Okay, maybe she's a neat freak or a turtlephobe, and it's her house of course. But I understand why you got your feelings hurt, and you're not an asshole for having hurt feelings. Not the asshole. I don't know why people are so against you. You asked someone for a favor but didn't force it when they said no. She's acting like an asshole for throwing it back at you in conversation like you did something wrong. Not the asshole. You have a right to feel how you feel and there's no apology needed for that. You BF's mom didn't want the turtle there, you asked for and the response was no. You should be putting on smiles when you're bummed, and that is a reasonable response because you needed help during a time of medical crisis for your grandpa. Your mill is an asshole to keep bringing it up, and when she does, ignore it or tell her you felt disappointed that she wasn't willing to let you boyfriend help when you had family going through a medical crisis. But you understood and you've moved on from that moment, and she should too. Nah. She's well within her right to decline, but you're also justified to be upset. You've done a lot. You and her son have been together longer than many marriages. It's understandable. Would I be the asshole if I asked my cousin to return my dress that was gifted to her? I, 24F, am in a serious moral conundrum. My cousin, 20F, who lives in Europe, has always been a little self-absorbed and loves to stunt on Instagram. To give an example, when she came to visit me, she would force me to take her out every night, which I don't mind. She can be really fun, but the events always centered around how many pics she could take to post on her IG and show off to her friends back home. She would constantly take my designer bags and post them online to get that aesthetic. Look, if that's your cup of tea, I don't mind at all, but she is incredibly spoiled by myself, my sisters, and mum. I literally have bought her designed clothes, makeup, accessories, gifted her a bunch of my wardrobe, etc. She has never gotten me anything besides chocolate and gum. She lives a beautiful life, has never worked, gets everything paid for by her parents, and goes on vacation 4x a year. We are upper middle class and live in North America, but I pay for my school, undergraduate and graduate, have worked since I was 16, and live in an expensive city. Sure, I have some nice things, and I do give expensive gifts occasionally, but overall I'm not throwing money around. On the whole, she's very spoiled and shallow and pretty much only talks to me now to butter me up into getting her something nice. However, she wasn't always like that, and I do have a soft spot for her because she can be sweet, and I tend to always excuse her more selfish behavior. Sorry, long setup, but on to the issue. So a few years back, my mother sent 3 of my dresses overseas for her, BCGB dresses all valued over $350. Now, I had no idea. One dress was a short mauve tulle dress, stunning. It was the first dress I ever got with my own money. The other was a short gold tulle dress. That one I'm not really upset about. And the last was a short white dress with these blue and purple watercolored flowers painted on it. It was my grade 8 grad dress. My sister was looking at her Instagram the other day and saw it and asked me why I gave it to her. Naturally, I freaked out. Despite not wearing the dress for 10 years, I still loved it and it had sentimental value. My boyfriend, 28M, and I are planning on getting engaged soon, and we have been talking about kids. His mom kept so much of his old stuff to hopefully have for his children in really great condition. It makes me sad because I feel like I have given so much of my sentimental stuff to other people, and I'm thinking that if I have a child who sees that dress in an old pic and asks me where it is, it just breaks my heart that that particular dress is no longer mine, and was gifted without my knowledge. Would I be the asshole if I asked her for the grad dress back? And #X200B. Edit. The dress is in my closet in my home where I live with my mom in a garment bag with my grad sash, cape and hat. My mom gave it away in 2019. I just sent a gift over to her a week ago because some family went to visit. It was a pair of Chloe shorts, very expensive. I do love her, I just think the desire for her to outshine her shitty friends online has made her see me like a sugar mama instead of her cousin. Not the asshole to ask, but if you get shot down you have to be prepared to accept that and not let it turn into a bigger deal. Also, if you're upset that she's spoiled by people and you're one of those doing the spoiling, it's worth taking a step back from that. Congrats on the imminent engagement. I may get downvoted here, but not the asshole. The dress was yours and you didn't give it away. It was given away by your mom without your knowledge. If your mom needed to make space, she needed to ask you first and give you the chance to take the dresses before giving them away to others. It seems like you really just want the one dress back, so I think it would be okay to reach out to your cousin, let her know what happened and how special this particular dress is to you, and see if she is willing to return it to you. I would also have a chat with your mom about what else she may still have if yours, and if she needs you to take anything that she still is keeping for you. Not the asshole. Your items were taken from you without your knowledge or consent and given to someone else. You are an adult and were an adult when this was done. It's not like you were a young child and your mom had the responsibility to clean your room and was getting rid of old junk. Your mom is the asshole here. Your mom is responsible for fixing her error, She should be the one to contact your cousin, explain it was an error to send her that dress, and ask for it to be returned. Hopefully, your cousin does not have an issue with this, she already borrowed it to take her pictures with to post and might not even need it anymore. Not the asshole. Your mom is the asshole for gifting away your special dresses if that's the case. Not the asshole, you did not gift your dresses, they were stolen from you. I would ask for my property back. If you buy a ring that turns up stolen, do you get to keep it or have to give it back? Absolutely not the asshole. I believe she'll understand why you want it back. Also, I don't think it counts as a gift since you never meant to give that dress to her. And if she doesn't give it back to you, well, I'd say you should reconsider future gifts. I don't think it's reasonable to ask for it back right now because you saw your cousin in it. You could ask that once she has outgrown it, you'd love to have it back and are happy to pay the shipping cost. The bigger issue is that you and your mom seem to have a disconnect where you expect her to store all your old possessions indefinitely, and she feels free to distribute them where they would be useful. That's a conversation you need to have with your mom, the sooner the better. You are the asshole. She is incredibly spoiled by myself, my sisters, and mom. Despite not wearing the dress for 10 years. So you in part created this monster and now you want to take it back? Perhaps re-evaluate how you handle your cousin and stop feeding her ego. Also yes, it's rude to take back something after so many years, regardless of if you knew previously or not. Am I the asshole for telling my roommate, friend for over a decade to GTF out of my house? My boyfriend, 28, M, and I, 24, F, moved into our own apartment at the beginning of the year. At the time my boyfriend wasn't working and we were going to need some help with the rent and bills. We have an extra room so we offered my friend, B, 23, F, and her boyfriend, 25, M, to come and live with us to help us out and until they could find a place of their own. The only stipulation to them living with us was that the apartment had to be kept super clean because we had a problem with cockroaches when we moved in. The problems with them started almost immediately. They would leave the sink full of dishes every single time they cooked a meal. They would leave food sitting out, uncovered, on the counter. There were always crumbs or food droppings left behind every single time they stepped foot into the kitchen. When they eventually did wash their dishes, they would leave them out on the counter for days before putting them away. If the trash was full, they wouldn't take the trash out, they would stuff it even more full and leave my boyfriend or me to take the trash out. When B would make their coffee in the morning, she would boil a pot full of water and cinnamon sticks and leave the pot boiling on the stove until there was practically no water left in the pan, and she would go into her room and forget about it. They would leave multiple containers of leftovers in the fridge and forget to clean them out for weeks. I did try to talk with B about her cleaning habits once, but it ended in a big fight between us. After that, I told her that she and her boyfriend had until October 1st to move out. Fast forward to this morning. B recently started working again and she gets up earlier than my boyfriend and I so she can make her breakfast or whatever before we wake up. I come out of my room and see that she left the cream cheese, that I bought, sitting out on the counter. I thought, well, maybe she's still in her room and she's gonna come make herself a bagel or something. Turns out she had already left. Not only that, but instead of taking the recycling out because it was full, she puts her 6 bottles on the kitchen table. Since she was gone, I texted her, and when she read my text she called me, but I wasn't able to answer the phone, so she texted me back. Her message read, "First of all, watch how you talk to me. You are not my parent and I don't have to follow your rules." I called her back when I read that and we ended up getting in a screaming match over the phone that ended with her hanging up on me. I texted her right after that and said I want you out of my house at the beginning of October. Granted, she already knew we wanted them out, but it hadn't really been spoken of since I mentioned it back in April. So, am I the asshole for telling my friend for over a decade to GTF out of my house? Edit. Thank you all for your responses. I have never posted something like this on Reddit, but the feedback is overwhelming. At the end of the day, I am losing my friend of 10 years because of petty, avoidable behavior, but I cannot allow her to continue to take advantage of my boyfriend and I. Not the asshole. First of all, watch how you talk to me. You are not my parent and I don't have to follow your rules. Wow. She's so far beyond the asshole here. No, you're not her parent, she's a grown adult. They both are, they both need to be responsible for themselves. But, she does have to follow your rules. You invited them into your home with a pretty easy stipulation they did not even bother to follow. The way I see it, October 1st seems so very far away. Reconsider this, you never know what she could come up with revenge-wise. Not the asshole. First of all, watch how you talk to me. You are not my parent and I don't have to follow your rules. No, you aren't her parent, but you live together and there are rules for cleanliness. It doesn't sound like they are doing anything to help keep the place clean. Why wait until October? The friendship seems already broken. If you're feeling charitable, give them a week or two to find a place. But the sooner they and their mess leave the better. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but you need to be very careful here. In most places, the roomies are residents and you cannot legally just toss them out. There are a lot of legalities around eviction, and in many cases, simply residing there and paying bills establishes their residency status and you cannot just move them out. So be very careful with how you tread here. She could become very petty and sue you for evicting them illegally. Not the asshole. That is not okay for her to treat your home that way. Not the asshole, kick them out. No need to have people at your place that you're not legally obligated to, if they like to live like rats. Not the asshole. Unfortunately, living with people is different. Not the asshole. You set some rules for them in order for them to live with you and they didn't follow them. Bye-bye. Update. Am I the asshole for asking for either my PS4 or $1,000 from my brother during his time of need? I was not expecting to be delivering a final update to all of you so soon after my original post. Nor did I expect the post to get so much attention and support. I was ruled as not the asshole and it made me finally realize how much of a pushover I've been to my brother. It took many comments encouraging me to take action that finally convinced me to take back what's mine. And now I can very proudly say that we've won. The day after I originally made my post was pretty crazy. I took the advice of many Redditors to threaten to take my brother to a small claims court. So that morning, I called my brother through my mom's phone to let him know that I'll be taking him to a small claims court. He did answer, but he laughed off my claim and hung up. This is where I decided to take another Redditor's recommendation of getting my family involved. For those of you who are unaware, my brother currently lives in the house that my grandfather owns. He basically lives there for free and only has to pay electric. So I called my grandfather. He was livid. He told me not to worry about anything and that he'd handle it. I got off the phone with my grandfather and I got a call from my brother about half an hour later. My brother said he'd bring the PS4 and all the accessories to my apartment on Sunday. But I ended up heeding the advice of a Redditor and put down my own terms. I told him that I expected it at my house tomorrow after he got home from work, and that I'd be recording the exchange if he tried something funny. Thank you to another Redditor for that. About an hour after, I texted my brother's girlfriend the question that many people were wondering. Did she know that he stole it from me? The answer is luckily no, she did not know that it was stolen from me. Weirdly, she did know it was stolen, but she thought it was stolen from one of his friends that he used to smoke with. After we talked, she offered to take all of my belongings to my aunt's house for safekeeping until she could drive it over to me when she goes on a trip upstate, since I live about 2 hours away. I will be recording her as well, even if I trust her a bit more. And for those wondering, what did my grandpa do to my brother to make him change up his act so quick? He gave my brother 30 days to move out before he kicked him out, but the real kicker was that he threatened to take my brother out of his will. Keep in mind that this was not the first time my brother has been a snake to a family member, this just happened to finally be the breaking point. So my brother finally got what was coming to him. He lost the PS4, all of its accessories, his home, and me. So there it is everyone. The surprisingly short end to our endeavor. This could not have been possible without the support, advice and judgment that all of the kind people on this subreddit have provided me with. Cheers to our victory, my friends. Clinking glasses. Link to original. Domino effect goes burr for your brother. Good job on getting your property back. Yikes, his girlfriend knew it was stolen and was just cool with it so she can play a game? Sounds like they're meant for each other. Good job on getting your stuff back. You don't steal from family and expect it to be okay. Your grandpa is such a champ and I am so proud of you for sticking up for yourself. Thanks for the update. Satisfying. Congratulations. I'm really happy that it worked out for you and especially that the rest of your family was so supportive of you. I'm also glad that he didn't get away with it. I find it hilarious though. My Mons really just ruined his own damn life over a PS4. Tears of joy embarrassing. Whoa, must feel good op. Thanks for the updates. They are infrequently shared on this sub. That's as awesome. I recommend a cross post to r. Nuclear Revenge. I feel this fits the bill. Kicked out of house and possibly the will. I would say he got what he deserved. I'm sorry that your brother sucks, but I'm glad you are getting your things back. He may return it to you damages, so if you have any photos of it before he took out, keep those as well. If your account info was connected to the PS4, change the password on it.